Now Westworld Season 4 ends with it being revealed that Dolores was kept in her own simulation of the city. Here she recreated elements of her past and guides to help her navigate through it all and see the truth. Come the close of the entry, she's uploaded to the Sublime by Hale, who was influenced by Bernard's final message. Here she recreates Westworld from scratch in order to see if there's a different way to do things. Now the season itself has very much been about whether the hosts are truly alive and their own form of life. However, it's also explored consciousness and whether having a duplicate of a person means they're real or not. This season it's been shown in not only the Man in Black, but also Caleb. We saw that Caleb was truly a copy of Caleb, but does this mean that he's an imitation or an extension of him past his own death? For example, if you copy someone completely, does that copy also become them or not? William too wrestles with whether he's actually William or not, and it makes for a really introspective watch. Now in Season 2, Dolores read all the data that had been gathered from the guests. This information on all those that had visited Westworld meant that she could recreate whoever she chose to. In addition to this, she was also uploaded to Rehoboam, and this had all the information on humanity, so she could completely replicate every human on the planet, and that's what I think this simulation will be. It will be a complete recreation of not only Westworld, but also Earth itself. Now if, say, you or I were replicated in a simulation exactly like how we were, then the question arises whether that's really us or not. Though our body wouldn't be there, the thoughts we have, behavior patterns, memories, and everything that exists in our brains would be created in a virtual way. It sort of asks the question, what does it mean to have consciousness? Is it our own thoughts and feelings, or is it just electrical signals that our brain interprets?
Well, if you can't tell the difference, does it matter?
It's an interesting debate that could argue whether we are truly us or something more. This is also explored when Teddy tells Christina that because she thinks she's alive. This seems to be taking inspiration from the philosopher Descartes, who coined the phrase, "I think therefore I am." One day he carried out a thought experiment in which he questioned whether reality was actually a dream, and if it was, how would he know it? Eventually he determined that he wouldn't be able to tell. However, he realized that because he was having thoughts, that meant at least he existed whether reality was the way he perceived it or not. Hence the term, "I think therefore I am." Now the idea of copying and duplicates can be seen in a lot of real-world examples. When you get a new phone these days, a lot of them allow you to copy over everything from your old one, and the new model very much becomes your phone. There's even theories that one day humanity will be able to live forever because we'll duplicate our consciousness. Whether it's actually us or not is a debate that I think another season could explore, but for all intents and purposes, this is Dolores seeing if she can save what she can. These are the copies of humanity that she holds in her head. Next time I think she'll very much be trying to see if there's a way to steer humanity, or rather the idea of it away from its self-destructive nature. As William said,
You can't fix a few millennia of broken DNA with a fucking hard drive.
And this very nihilistic viewpoint could lead to everything simply looping back around. However, Dolores might be able to steer us in a different direction due to her knowledge of what's to come. It's very similar to Bernard's foresight, and he has given her a way to create a new world that is one of the only ways forward. Now there's also hope in the rebels, however, this likely won't last very long. They have very few numbers, and even Rehoboam predicted an end to all humanity by a certain point, which they'll probably end up facing. This too is backed up by the line,
"A few may escape death for a few months, maybe even years, but ultimately, their kind will go extinct."
However, there is hope in Dolores that humanity will evolve and become something more. Dolores throughout the series has talked about how she's evolved into something more herself, and now she's brought the rest of us along with her. Now with the rebels, I'm not sure how many of the kids the group could end up having, but there is hope that they could start something up, and I think we will probably see them if we get a season 5. Clementine did hint at there being a way they can endure far away from the reaches of the hosts, and I think it would be an interesting avenue to explore this next time. Whereas William was a nihilist, Dolores is an optimist that believes humanity can still be saved. Now you might even be wondering, how can we be saved if we're already wiped out? And that takes us to theory time. So it is possible that this might even be just one big test within a simulation being run by a character like Arnold or Ford to see how things will end up turning out. If there's still a chance humans can be saved, then this might just be running through the outcome so that we can see how to avoid our potential downfall in the future. I think people would be angry if the entire thing was revealed to be one big probability test, but we have seen this later throughout the series with Rehoboam and also Bernard. This would explain how humanity is able to be saved, which it might not happen yet, but that's what happens when we're in theory time. Oh, up there. Now, Dolores also drops this line about how humanity will only live as long as the last person who remembers them. This is a callback to it being said earlier in the series. Now, Dolores ends up preserving sentient life in her own world, and she starts everything up once more. We see the piano begin to play, and the scene almost rolls out beat for beat like how it did in the first season.
Maybe this time, we'll set ourselves free.
In the end, it was just one big Westworld, and I really enjoyed the way that it closed out. Now, I don't know if this being a sim robs the stakes for next time, but they might end up having this whilst also playing out elements of Frankie's future in the real world, if it's even the real world. Either way though, I think they stuck the landing on a lot of things here, and it ties it up pretty well. If you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our breakdown of the perfect scene in The Sandman, which will be linked on screen right now. We've gone over episode 6, talked about all the callbacks to the comics, and also what it really means, so definitely head over there right after this. If not, thanks for sitting through the video. I've been Paul, let's see you next time. Take care, peace.